artists. This is Mrs. Kazmarek, and this is my video on how to draw a fruit bowl or a bowl of fruit. You're probably wondering why in a bowl of fruit there is a pizza or a slice of pizza. I'll get to that in a second, but what I want to talk to you today about is how to draw a fruit bowl. Most importantly, the art word that we're going to be using is called a still life. And anytime I say still life, I make my arms in a circle, kind of like a bowl or like a ballerina would. And if you remember from art class, I do a clap, clap, and then I put my hands out and I say, a still life is a work of art with fruit or vegetables or anything that doesn't move. And students would repeat after me. The reason why I do that is to help you remember what a still life is. A still life could be a bowl of fruits or vegetables. Certainly doesn't have to be. It could be a vase of flowers, a cup of coffee or hot cocoa. It could be a toy, a common object, or a bunch of common objects that you could find around your home. Artists would create still lifes because they were pretty easy to do. Most of the time, they could find objects around their homes, set them up, and nobody would touch them. Unlike using a human or a person or an animal, we have to move or have an itch. You can't sit for hours upon hours to do a painting. Also, with being outside, the weather changes, the sun moves, wind blows, it could rain or snow, especially like in Ohio, like how we're dealing with crazy weather today or this weekend. It's so unpredictable that you can't always spend a lot of time outside. So artists began doing still lifes to help practice painting and drawing and not having their objects move. So it became a popular way of making art, and usually they used food and other types of things that they could find. So my inspiration for this drawing is from the book Fruit Bowl by Mark Hoffman. He was the author and illustrator, so that means he wrote the book and he drew the pictures. In this picture here, you can see his blue fruit bowl. I obviously copied, it was inspired by his blue fruit bowl from my drawing. He has a sign here, it says no veggies allowed, and we've got a tomato here trying to climb up a ladder into the bowl. So, and with lots of other fruit. Some of them are laughing, some of them look a little concerned, some of them are probably like, come on in, it's great. So in the other video, I read you the story, and in this video, we are going to learn how to draw a still life of a bowl of fruit. You can draw any kinds of things in your fruit bowl. Like I said, there's a piece of pizza sticking up, but from the fruit bowl. In this drawing, I thought it would be fun to not only draw a bowl of fruit, but to add something that would be unique or very odd, that somebody might stop and look at your art and say, why did they do that? You might be like, why did Mrs. Kazmarek draw a piece of pizza coming out of her fruit bowl? I just thought it was funny to add something very different than the normal still lifes that you might see. So we're going to brainstorm some things that you can create and add to your fruit bowl to give yourself or the viewer a good laugh. So that's my goal, is to make you guys laugh and have some fun. So all you're going to need for this art project is a piece of paper. I'm going to slide this up slightly so I can hopefully draw right here. Sorry about the shadows. The only time I can do my videos is at nighttime because I have 3 kids that always need their mommy. So I'm doing this in the evening, and hence the shadows. So bear with me with the shadows. But I'm going to use a black marker because if I use pencil, it's going to be kind of hard for you to see. But I'll use a marker so you can see better. I always recommend using pencil first. That way if you make a mistake, you can erase it. But if you only have a marker on hand, that's fine too. Like I said, I'm going to use a marker. If I make a mistake, I'm just going to have to deal with it, right? Can't erase marker. It's called a beautiful oops, and you can always just change things or do different things. Even if you think you make a mistake, you can always try to just fix it. So anyways, with your pencil or marker or colored pencil or whatever writing material you have, we're going to start with the bowl. This curve here kind of looks like I always call it like a happy or like a smirk, and it's like a swoop line. So about the center of my paper, as wide as you want to go, as skinny as you want to go, you're going to make a big like curve happy mark. So I'm going to take my pen, my marker, and I'm going to make my curve. Okay? You might have one end taller than the other. That's okay. In the grand scheme of things, no one's going to really know. Once you get all your drawings in there, it's not really going to be a big deal. So if you think, oh man, I didn't make mine perfect, it's okay. No one's perfect. Even Mrs. Kazmarek. So I'm going to draw the bottom of my bowl, the sides and the bottom here. I'm going to make a big swoop. I call it my open mouth. You make smiles. Sometimes we make smiles that are just closed, and sometimes we make them open. Same thing with a bowl. So I'm going to start on the side here. I'm going to come down slightly, and I'm just going to curve around and up. And if I go too fast, just pause the video. That's the beauty of technology. So you have two choices here. You can leave your bowl like this, nothing wrong with a bowl like that. A more decorative bowl has a little base at the bottom. Mark Hoffman included that little base, that's why I did. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But if you like your bowl like this, that looks like bowls I have around my house, you don't have to include that little base. But I'm going to show you anyway. So I'm going to slide this up just so we can compare. So to make the base here, I just had some diagonal lines coming out of the bottom. And since our bowls are round, we don't want to do a straight line, but we want to do a slight curved line. That's going to make our bowl look more realistic because it's not a flat bowl, it's a round bowl. So we make our lines round. All right, sound good? We'll get back to the decorating of the bowl. For now, I want to show you how to make your fruit. You could even add vegetables in there, or like I said, some funny little things that you might not normally find in a bowl of fruit. So let's start with the easiest one. I would say the easiest one is the tomato. He's round, it's pretty big, and yeah, it's pretty simple. It's a circle. So in order for them to be sitting in the bowl, we don't want to draw a circle right from this line. We kind of want to imagine our tomato is sitting in the bowl. So we want to start with wherever we want. In this one, he's on this side, so I'll make him on this side this time. I'm going to start somewhere by the edge of my bowl here, and then I'm going to make my circle, come around, and down. So you can see, it's not like I made the whole circle on the edge here. He's kind of sitting in the bowl. Okay? He's a nice big tomato. There's lots of other things you can do. What I did not include in this original one is grapes. Grapes are a great little thing, and then great drawing, I should say, and they're really funny in the story. They do funny things. So I'm going to add a few grapes. So I'm going to have a couple grapes here peeking out. So I'm just going to draw some smaller circles because grapes are much smaller than tomatoes. And I'm also going to add in an apple, an orange, a pear, hopefully some bananas too. We'll try to squeeze all this in. So I'll do an apple next. Apples are a little bit lumpy. They're not symmetrical. They're not perfect, but they usually have a little divot on the top. So to do that, I'm going to make a little curve where I want my apple to be. And then I'm going to come up and around and down. And if you notice, I'm kind of hitting my grapes here. And that's called overlapping. So my apple is actually behind my grape here. And that's okay. And round and down. So this apple is behind this grape is in front, we have some overlapping. So I did not draw my line through the grape, I just stopped there, okay? And then I can add a stem, if you want. Not all apples have stems. Oh, I forgot to add a stem for my tomato, how could I forget? I'm gonna add a stem, and then tomatoes sometimes have some leaves that come off of it. They don't always do, but if you want to add them, you can. All right, orange. I'm gonna try to squeeze. Do you like how I do this with my hand? This is how I air sketch, or I sketch in my brain. Sometimes I make a line here to kind of imagine where I'm gonna put things. And I think I'm gonna put my pear here because I have more height. I think I'm gonna put my orange over here. So for my little orange dude, I'm gonna have him come around and he touches the apple and the grape, And my orange has a little funny hole at the top. And oranges have a funny texture. They kind of have these little like divots in them. So I'm gonna add some little dots for my orange. Hopefully you can see those. All right, so I'm gonna add a pear. I really like drawing pears. I think they're so funny because they have this funny little top. So I'm running out of room. This bowl seems to be a little bit smaller than my other bowl. So I'm running out of room, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to add a pear in here. This pear is like way in the back. Okay, so I drew 2 curved lines coming together, but I stopped because a pear has this like funny pear shape. And I accidentally made my line a little too close. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. I can erase. I will create something with that. All right, so now I need to add a stem. And I can probably see some of the bottom of my pear here, so I'm gonna create it there. He's kind of like just sticking in the bottom. All right, last but not least, we got some bananas here, some nanners. Who was watching Masked Singer and liked the banana dude? I did, my kids did too. To create a banana, we're gonna make a curved line, kind of diagonal, and then a little upside down U shape. And we're gonna come back around. As we come down, we get a little bit wider, okay? It's kind of like a crescent shape. I'm gonna draw a line at the top for the little top part of my banana. And bananas have a little bit of ridges on them, so I'm gonna add a ridge in there. I like to group bananas together because they normally come in bunches. So you can feel free to do that if you want. I think I'm just gonna add 2 for now because I'm running out of room. All right, so there we go. We are almost to the end. Pretty exciting. So our fruit bowl is sitting somewhere, right? On the floor, on a table, something. So Mark Hoffman created this really cool bluish, grayish tablecloth. Or actually, maybe it's the countertop. I believe it's the counter. So I'm gonna create something like that as well. But this time I'm gonna do it a little differently. Those were diagonal lines. So I'm gonna do some overlapping again because if the bowl is sitting on the counter or the table, it goes behind it. You would never wanna make your line right on the edge here unless it's like actually sitting on the way back of the table and it would practically fall off. So usually there's some overlapping here as well. So I'm gonna draw my line. I'm gonna do a hop and draw all the way straight over. All right. So there is my bowl. It's sitting on a table. You can leave this blank. You could do diagonals, straight lines. You could really do anything you want. I think for this one, instead of doing diagonal lines, I'm gonna make a shadow. I love making shadows for my stuff. So to make a shadow, I like I said, sometimes I air sketch. I'm gonna come around and I always draw this really lightly and sketchy just because when I color it in, I shade it in. So this is my shadow here for my bowl. And there would be quite a large shadow here for this little bowl friend. So I'm gonna come around like this and do a slight shadow. Oh, I'm sorry, it's hard seeing. Usually with this, if the light's coming down, you would have more, one side would have more of a shadow, unless the light's directly above it. But I always like imagining this light coming from the side. So there we are. You can decorate your bowl however you want. You can do little loop lines like Mark Hoffman did. There's some lines here. They match the base. I think for this bowl, I'm just gonna do one thick line. I have a bowl at home that, well, I am home obviously, but in my house that has just like a thick line here. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna just add one more line at the bottom of the base here. There, so it's kind of simple, but gives it a little bit of a different feel to it. All right, so you might say, Mrs. Kazmarek, that's a pretty awesome fruit bowl. I think it's done. Totally fine. You could say, I'm done, I'm cool, this is all I wanna do. In Mark Hoffman's story, he created faces on his fruit. I thought that'd be kind of fun to do, just to make it a little bit interesting, something different. So if you would like to add faces, you can. You don't have to. You can just leave it as a regular fruit bowl. Obviously, fruit doesn't have faces in real life. So to make the eyes though, if you'd like to, you can either stop the video now and color it in, or leave it black and white, or add some eyes and noses and make funny faces on your fruits and stuff. So we've got I've got my two little eyes here. They remind me of Shopkins, like it looks like they're winking. You can do that, or you can create another line underneath it for the eyes. Now you can decide, where is this tomato going to be looking? Is he looking that way? Is he looking that way? Is he looking up? Is he looking down? Let's say he's looking down. If he's looking down, you want the eyes to be towards the bottom. You can make a glow or a little highlight in their eyes, which is you leave a little bit of white in there. Mark Hoffman colored them in completely black, so that's why I did in mine. But if you'd like to leave some little white dots inside as like little highlights and shines, you can do that too. I know some kids love to make those highlights. Mark Hoffman made triangle noses. I thought they were super fun. And then two little dots. And then he has a smile. Sometimes they're smiling, sometimes they're like, hey, what's going on? Some of them have eyelashes. I can show you, I can zoom in for you. So we've got some fun friends here. And we've got some with eyelashes and some that are concerned and some that are worried and some that are just like, hey, I'm happy to be in this bowl. So you can do whatever you want. Alrighty, I'm gonna make eyes on this one. This one, maybe he's looking off to the side. I'm gonna make his mouth open. He's like, hey, I'm a pear. I've got these goofy grapes here. They crack me up in the story. Mark Hoffman also added arms and things to his little guys. I'm not gonna bother. You can add little arms in just by drawing lines with little tiny lines for fingers. I just think it makes it a little too busy. So there's my grape, guys. Got one more grape to do. This one's gonna be looking up. He's like, oh my goodness, what are you guys doing? And I got my apple guy here. His little smirk is barely peeking through. Got some oranges and some bananas. I give my little orange eyelashes, make her look like a girl. 'Cause girls love the eyelashes. Why is it that the boys have all these awesome eyelashes and the girls have to pay for them? What's up with that? So many of my boy students have the best eyelashes. It's just not fair. Alrighty, friends, here we are. Here's my totally awesome bowl of funky fruit friends. Now, back to Mr. Pizza Man. You can totally make a pizza. You can totally make different types of food. You could make something totally off the wall, like, I don't know, a robot, or you could go back to what we did last week with the mermaids and the pirates and the sharks. You could add in just like a funny little character over here. There's so many things you can do. You can say, Mrs. K, happy, I like it, I'm not gonna do anything else. Or you can add in something totally random. It's hard to decide for me since I did a pizza and that's like my favorite, but I think I will draw something in that's not food related, something that's totally different, just to spice it up. So for this part, when I add in my funny thing, I'm actually gonna add in, for a lot of my sports fans, I'm gonna add in a basketball. It's gonna be peeking over here and it's gonna be like, hey guys, can I get in the fruit bowl? So totally off the wall, totally random. Obviously a basketball would not go in a fruit bowl, which makes it super fun. So in the background here, I'm gonna pretend like he's peeking from the back. So I'm gonna add in, and basketballs are pretty big, so we're gonna have to make him a little bit bigger. So using up my space, as much space as I have, I got my basketball friend here. And then to make a basketball, if I remember correctly, and then it's like whoop, whoop, right? Whoop, whoop. Yeah, this way. The bottom part here would be coming up, but it's kind of cut off. So you might have to add it in. Maybe like that. There we go. So there's my basketball. So I was wondering why my basketball looks a little bit odd. It's because I messed it up. So bear with me. I haven't drawn a basketball in a while. I probably should have looked into it before I did it, but that's okay. So here's my basketball as best I can. He's a little wonky, but hey, it's all good, right? Don't judge me too hard. So my basketball friend, he's like, hey, he looks a little bit grumpy, so I'm gonna make him definitely a grumpy pants. He's looking grumpy these days. He's like, hey, it says no vegetables, but I'm not a vegetable. So, can I come in? I'll give him some eyebrows too. Alright, so there's my totally awesome basketball. He's wondering, why can't I come in? I'm gonna give him another grumpy face right here. There we go. Perfect. So, here's my little friends all in the bowl. Here's my little basketball. If you want it as a last thing, and these little corners here, you can always add in, I like to sometimes add in a little line here to make the bowl look more realistic. If you have a little space here, I just have a teensy space, so I can add that in too. And if you can see here, I don't have as many fruits in here, like I have all this overlapping, so I can't see the back of the bowl. But here I could, so I did draw a line for the back of the bowl, and I colored it in black. So I don't have much space here that I would need to color in black, so I think I will. Not that I think I know I will. I'm gonna color this in, just for some. Oh, actually, I found a little spot here. So the bowl comes around, and there'd be this little bit here that you could see. So, filled that in for you. You can also color in anything you want. You can leave this black and white. I just want you guys to have a blast with this. Think of something really funny. I can't wait to get a kick out of what funny thing you add in to your drawing that would be like totally out of the ordinary from a typical still life. You can color as much of it as you want, leave it black and white. If you add a shadow, you can always do some cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is when you color shade in one direction. That's called hatching, like doing hatching lines. Cross-hatching is when you cross those lines over. So this helps just give it some kind of grayish color without having a gray marker. Instead of just coloring it in like dark black. So if I turn my paper, I can make kind of these sketchy lines. This is where my shadow would be. And the wider you go, the grayer it looks. So you can just kind of keep going as much as you want. And that kind of helps make your shadow darker. And then you can always go back in and still color this in with a gray or a black or whatever kind of color you want. It gives you the idea of like a gray type shadowy look. You can add in here. Totally up to you. Just want to give you guys some different options and ideas. Like I've said in the past, these art projects are not required. You are always welcome to do them for fun and to do them if you have the time or if you would like to do them. Certainly not mandatory. What I do is I give you guys feedback on your art. I will respond once it's posted or uploaded. If I don't respond, it's because you've turned it in without a picture, so I can't be like, hey, good job. So some of you I didn't respond to, but I just accepted the project because I just saw that you said you did it, which is fine if you just say you did it and you don't have to show me a picture, but I obviously would love to see them. So here's my little friends all hanging out. I'm not going to color it for you. You can see what it looks like colored, and you can always do this on your own, or you can leave it black and white. It's perfectly fine with me. So hope you guys have fun with this. I hope you get some giggles. I can't wait to see what you do, and enjoy. Bye guys. See you later.